For out of the ground we would take dust we are, and to the dust we shall return. I think he meant kill him.
If you watch my videos before, you probably know that I usually make my own blueprints. But this time I got my plan from Rob Dawkins, aka Ghostsoldier on the RPF platform. Rob was kind enough to give me his PDF file, and he also allowed me to share it with you guys, so if you ever feel like building your own machete, the link will be in the description. The core of the machete will be made out of a 1/4-inch aluminum bar. The order of operation is really important here. I was planning on cutting the blade, then I realized that it would be way easier to simply cut the holes first. Clamping a rectangle object in a vise is simply easier than a round object. Even though this is only aluminum, I still like to use a bit of cooling fluid just to help my tool. I'm gonna use a deburring tool to clean the holes and to also give them a little bevels. I found that bevels always catch the light a bit better. It's now time to cut the main shape of the blade. For that, I'm using my metal bandsaw. It's not a big one, but honestly, in the past year, this is probably the most useful tool I bought. I will now use my different sanders to fix the raw edges and to make them a bit smoother before I go to grinding. I'm now measuring the width of the cutting edge, and I'm also marking the center of the blade. These are key information for grinding the machete. It's getting late now and I'm really happy with the results so far. So I believe I'm simply gonna call it a night and start fresh tomorrow. I'm doing a bit of masking here because I want to darken the machete without the cutting edge and start the weathering in the meantime. Of course I don't want the blade to be that dark, so I'm gonna send most of it away. I don't want the machete to be shiny. I'm simply polishing the cutting edge to remove the grinding marks. I'm gonna start the handle with a base of leather. I know once it's gonna be fully wrapped we'll never see that. But still, I believe it's a really nice detail. Here, I'm using a beveler to shave the edge of the leather just to make it a bit more round. Here I'm adding real rivets simply because it makes sense to fill the hole with something and again, it looks cool. Let's talk a little bit about the wrapping of the endo. To be honest, I did not really know what to do it since the references are really vague in that matter. So I just started by gathering a bunch of rope and leather lace and I just went from there. Yeah, I know. This wrapping is supposed to be black and dark, but we'll get to it later, I promise. The extremities of the handle look like some kind of fabric. So I decided to use an old rag that I had, and to be honest, it looks the part. I used different sizes of strip and applied them in layers. The closer I was getting to the center, I started to use tiny strips just to blend better with the leather. Then I used the small letter lace to help the blending transition between each different materials. It was time for the weathering. Again, I did not really know what to do, but I knew one thing: it had to look dirty and post apocalyptic. I started everything with a dark wash of acrylic paint and water. I then decided to spray a glossy black on top of everything with a rattle can and just rub everything together. The next coat was black oil paint with some brown. There was nothing fancy about it, it was directly applied with a brush, and it was also used to make a smooth blending between the handle and the blade. The excess paint was then removed with a paper towel. This sword has seen many fights and it needs to be battle damage. So let's do it! Another wash was applied just to enhance the cracks from the battle damage scars. It was then time for the final touch. Some localized painting and splatters from a toothbrush always seems to do the trick for me. I know this is really subtle, but I do believe that when you pay attention to detail, the big picture will always take care of itself.